Hello and welcome to tip number 8 in this 30 Photoshop tips course. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can go back in time using history states, and also how you can work or go back in a non-linear fashion. So let's jump straight into Photoshop, and we can start by thinking about what history states are. Essentially, any action you perform in Photoshop is remembered and then you can undo. That's what allows you to undo. Now, how many states are remembered is set in your preferences. So if we come up to Edit, Preferences and General, we're just going to look under the Performance tab and we're going to see history states here. Now I've got mine set to 40. Photoshop can remember up to 1000. However, I would not recommend, as that's going to take up a lot of system power. So set to 40, and also if you need to go back 1000 states, then maybe you should change to a non-linear, non-destructive workflow. It's a much better way to work. Yeah, you should never really need to go back that many. So I've got mine set to 40 and I'm just going to click OK. Now what I have open is the history tab, the history panel. If you come up to Window, come down to History, that's going to enable the history panel. So what we can see there is any action we take will be displayed in here as a history step. So first things first, I'm just going to come up to this little menu here. I'm going to click and I'm going to come to History Options. Now this is the interesting one that I wanted to show you, which is non-linear history. So I'm going to just turn that off. It's off by default, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw some lines. I'm just going to come to layers, just create a new layer there, come to history, and I'm just going to draw some lines. There we go. So we've got all of these steps are remembered in Photoshop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo, and you're going to see these steps are now grayed out. So we've got all these steps are grayed out. So if I perform another action, all these states are going to be lost. So we'll never be able to revert to these states. So if I click and drag, you can see it's deleted all of those states. So now I can only go back to this one and to this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that layer. It's going to create a new layer, and I'm just going to come to History, and I'm going to change this setting. So again, click on the menu, come to History Options and allow non-linear history. So this time I'm going to draw another 6 lines, which we can see in there, these 6, and this time I'm going to undo, and you're going to see that they're not grayed out. Previously these steps were grayed out, these ones. So now when I click and drag and perform a new action, it's just added it to the bottom. So we can now go back to any state we like since we started that edit. So when you have non-linear history turned on or allowed, you can essentially go back to any state that you want. Obviously dependent on your settings, so mine's set to 40, so I can go back to any of those 40 states. Even if I undo and carry on, I'll be able to go back into those states that I undone. So it's a very effective way to work, and I would suggest that you allow that setting to allow you to go back in time using history states. So thank you very much for joining me in this quick tip. I shall see you in the next one.